Call this emergency meeting to order pursuant to Section 202 of the Illinois Open Meetings Act. That emergency meeting is being called by the mayor and the commissioners of the city of Zion related to the current coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic. The meeting will be held at City Council Chamber, City Hall, 2828 Sheridan Road, Zion, Illinois, on March 17, 2020, at, let's say, 7:53 p.m. Clerk, please call the roll. Oh, do we want to do the Pledge of Allegiance? It's on the agenda.
We could. I mean, we don't have to.
Let's do it. It's on the agenda.
You can't hurt.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now we can do the roll call, please.
Commissioner Fisher?
Here.
Commissioner McDowell?
Here.
Commissioner Frierson?
Here.
Commissioner Holmes?
Here.
Mayor McKinney?
Here.
Okay. Item 4 is an ordinance declaring a local emergency and authorizing emergency powers relating to the impact of the coronavirus disease 2019, COVID-19. I will make a motion to table this ordinance.
Second.
Till a future meeting to be determined. We already have a second. Is there any discussion?
No discussion.
There's no discussion.
No discussion? Yeah, because we're tabling it. Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Commissioner Frierson?
Aye.
Commissioner Holmes?
Aye.
Mayor McKinney?
Aye.
Item 5 is public comment. Would any representatives of the public like to make a comment?
Mr. Chair, would you mind if I address the board?
Certainly, please.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, Mayor, so before us tonight was an ordinance that was tabled, and it was an ordinance authorizing emergency powers for the city executive, essentially the mayor and the administrator. It is a policy, and quite frankly, it was thoroughly thought through, but we wanted to give you time, hence the request at the table, to see if this crisis develops in such a manner that we do need a supplemental ordinance, or if this ordinance works with the policies attached, how you may want to change. We would ask that any comments that you may have to it, and whether it's this is great, we have no comments, let's pass it next time, or we don't need it, or in the middle, where it's take out item 5, leave in item 6. If you could email those comments to myself and the administrator, and then we'll adjust it accordingly. Obviously, these are unprecedented times. These are times where we want to make sure that we are servicing the residents of the city of Zion to the best of our ability. And we don't want to essentially, not out of a lack of due diligence, but we don't want procedure to overtake the efficient operations of government, such as ensuring that this building is somewhat, let's say, on lockdown. As such, we put this forth as a proposal to you. And we ask for your feedback and wisdom as the superintendents of the departments of the city and the commissioner and the mayor to give us that feedback. We can incorporate it. And if we need it, we pass it at a later date. That being said, pursuant to the unilateral powers of the mayor in section 18-2 of the city code, as eloquently read by the chairman pro tem, the mayor has declared this a state of civil emergency. The ordinance relative to a state of civil emergency was written in 1954. It is somewhat antiquated in so much that it refers to as natural disasters with regards to in the corporate limits of the city that may or do cause an injury of persons or destruction of property, such that extraordinary measures must be taken to protect the public health, safety, and welfare. The definition of natural disaster is not set forth. Pandemic is not stated therein. I will give a legal opinion that says a natural disaster, of course, is a pandemic. I think it's very fair, but I do want it on the record that I'm comfortable with the mayor exercising his authority thereon. He has done that. But I would like this board to acknowledge it and ensure that it's placed on file with the city clerk. Then, in the event powers that have to be taken, such as closure of businesses, which was recently done by, for example, the Village of Buffalo Grove, can be undertaken. Of course, this has been discussed with myself, the mayor, and the administrator, and in the event of any such steps, the mayor and the administrator and myself will reach out to you and let you know. But there are times that, for example, I believe the administrator gave the order to shut down the building. Is that correct? Correct. Okay. And if something like that happens again, we will obviously be in contact with you. Primarily the administrator and the mayor, myself, will help out when need be. But we want to have that flexibility to ensure that we protect the residents and the employees of the city to the best of our ability. As such, I would just like this acknowledged and placed on file with the clerk. There is no final action to be taken at this point in time. I wouldn't mind that vote being put on the record, that it's acknowledged and placed on record with the clerk. With that in mind, we could do a motion to acknowledge the receipt of the declaration of emergency and ask the same to be placed on file with the city clerk.
So we're not ratifying it because this is a unilateral action by
That's
the
correct.
mayor. We're just acknowledging that the statement was read and that the mayor has declared a state of emergency.
That's correct. There essentially is no way to ratify it. It's nomenclature, it's kind of semantics, but you're correct specifically, yes.
I'll make that motion to acknowledge receipt of the declaration and place it on file with the clerk.
Second.
Any further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Commissioner Fryerson?
Aye.
Commissioner Holmes?
Aye.
Mayor McKinney?
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Make that motion.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Commissioner Fryerson?
Aye.
Commissioner Holmes?
Aye.
Mayor McKinney?
Thank you all.